Okay, but today I wanted to look at FF14 stuff still, because I saw a really. First of all, I've had people write me about their characters from the benchmark, and so I wanted to hear different people's opinions and keep an eye on this whole conversation that's going on, because yesterday we did uncover some stuff going on with characters that is really busted and glitched. And so I think it's worth paying attention to this conversation, because I probably should make a video about all the actual glitches and serious issues I've seen with characters in the benchmark. So I'm trying to keep an eye on this whole discussion. But someone sent me this. Yeah, right here. Someone who's fairly unhappy with their character. I've shown this to other people. I talked about this about the new characters with my friends who are returning to the game, who haven't played in a while, and a lot of people are coming back to some of the same complaints. So I think since so many people are saying kind of the same stuff, that it's worth looking at. Like right here. Oh. So Arian Blade sent me this tweet and said, do you think there's some way to mod the new one so the face stays the same? Because I've got it. And here we're looking at first glance, you'd say it's a lighting issue. You know, like one has terrible lighting, but there is another issue here that I'm seeing, which is the lips. I feel like the lips, in a lot of cases, seem pretty uncanny. And I've seen this with our raw lips. I've seen it with most, not all, but most races have some stuff going on. Like if you compare these two, one of them looks way more natural on the lips than the other one. There's also like, there's shape to the lips. There's like little features on the, especially in the corners of the lips, that are kind of lost in the new one. Yeah, the left one is old. This is the old version, and this is the new version. So he said, I know I'm being dramatic, but if this can't be helped, I don't know. I might spend the month after I get back Port Trail taking my last G poses. I'm so sad that I've been burnt out and busy. It's this last I'll ever get to see him be so beautiful. Well, there's a couple things I'll say. First of all, I hear you, because like comparing the before and after here is pretty jarring. But the other thing that I'll point out is that someone else suggested that you change the gamma settings in the benchmark, and this can help. Here, let me show it to you. Okay, here's a tweet. If you turn down gamma correction to stop your worry of light looking washed out, it will look better. It's 50 by default, and it can be adjusted in the display settings tab. So this might be something that helps you if your character seems like really washed out, which is the case with many. It's still not perfect, and I encourage anyone who's still not happy with theirs to make it known on the official forums so they can hopefully make improvements. I'm also going to experiment tweaking the skin tone. Luckily, we're getting that free Fantasia, if that's a solution. Yeah, so this is turning it down. You can just turn it down to 0, and now you've got better shadows and stuff on your face, which of course is going to make the face look better overall. I personally, I think Ella's in male looks amazing in general. But he said, I really suspect the faces flesh out a lot with the new lights and shadows. But the other thing is I really hope the devs see it and still work on it a lot. Yeah, I hope that they are not done, because there's like a lot of really good feedback that people are giving right now that deserves attention. So that's why I'm spending like a fair bit of time also paying attention, because I feel like I can signal boost some of these things. Some of these issues that people are having. But yeah, when it comes to this, the lips are not translating well in a lot of situations. I've seen here, there's a big post about Moon Mikote Phase 4. These concerns are mesh and texture changes. I've done my best to eliminate lighting as the cause of differing appearance. I've also edited this post to upload a new graphic with more direct comparisons that will hopefully be more clear. So if you compare, like, just looking at, let me move this to the side a little bit so you can see this better. There is, like, just not worrying about lighting and shadow. It does feel like some things are placed a little differently on the face. And so this was the face that I used on my Mikote for years and years. So I can kind of see these subtle differences that someone else who's been using this face is using. Because, I mean, I had this face from 2015 until they released Vieira, which was enough time for me to notice these small little things. I would rather have the team take longer to polish up more than rather rush it out. What I'm saying, the reason I said that is because if you haven't used this face, if you're not as familiar with it, as people who literally stare at this face every day for years, you might not notice these subtle changes as easily, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist. You may look at the above and think it looks better to me or doesn't look much different. I do understand you. Please try to understand me as well. I have been looking at this face for years. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I feel like I know FFXIV character faces better than my own face. Maybe even better, to be honest. Yeah. These things are going to be more apparent to me. But already a bunch of people in chat say, like, yeah, you can see the difference. Now, if you look over in JP and how JP is providing feedback, it is absolutely insane. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you what I've seen over here. These people are like scientists, but this is actually what we've been doing for the past couple of days. While I understand people's negative feedback on Twitter about certain stuff, we've seen with Dawn Trail, this is how you compile data as feedback. Look, doing God's work. Look at this. Let me zoom in. Oh my God. Okay, so this is like people are doing their doctoral theses on this, and I'm glad for it. I'm glad, because this is the kind of feedback that they're gonna have to get. Like, this is what they get from having the game be like, I don't know, 70% staring at your character's face. It is important. But I actually do think that this is the kind of very specific feedback that they can action, you know. It's not just, oh, that looks weird. It's, okay, here's exactly what we mean. And I think with the lips, actually here with the lips, they've done a very, very good job of like pointing out stuff that is easier shown than explained. With the lips is a big one. Here and here. There's also like difference in the shape between the nose and the mouth. So not just that, there's no sliders. So these things matter when you can't adjust the finer details. I do love the new limbal ring. Yeah, for that one, I do really think it looks a million times better. So these things are going to look different in some cases, because like this before, honestly, like this limbal ring before looked jank as hell. It just straight up looked bad. It looks really bad. And now it looks significantly better. Of course, I can't read all the Japanese text that accompanies this, and maybe they have other specific feedback about the limbal ring that I just can't read. Yeah, so this is what they're doing on the JP forums. So like, dude, rest assured that the devs are hearing it. They are hearing it. We have to purchase the game plus XP. What? Oh, yeah, plus the expansion. Sorry, my brain is slowed. And monthly fee. So we better have good looking characters. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Dragon's Dogma 2 was insane. Yeah, I mean, you can get a little spoiled in Dragon's Dogma. But actually, for all of the character creation sliders you had in Dragon's Dogma 2, there was some stuff mysteriously missing. Like, I couldn't give my character blue skin or bright blue hair. They wouldn't let me go with some of the more crazy colors. Like, the skin color selection in that game was not that good, actually. I still made gorgeous characters, don't get me wrong, but it's not like I could do anything I wanted, which was really unusual. They had like blue, okay, anyway, I'm not gonna get off on a tangent about this, but I like the hair stuff. Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate 3 had my favorite character creator so far. I do think that there's some cases where there are sliders that are just unnecessary. Like, you don't need to have, like, I felt like in Dragon's Dogma 2, I did not need to have a posture slider. I did not need to have, like, adjust the angle of my character's elbows and knees, because if you mess with those sliders at all, your character is going to look weird when they walk. I would rather than just have, like, some default walks that I could choose from that look good, that they've decided that look good. Because I tried to mess with those sliders, and I ended up making a character that looked like she had to go to the bathroom. She looked really constipated. BDO creator was the best. I never tried it. I never tried that, but I have heard good things about that creator, and I think that BDO creator was pretty impressive considering the time. Like, it wasn't 2014 that game came out. It's gonna be tough too, because people that do enjoy the changes aren't gonna say anything either. Oh, that's a really good point. That is a really good point. I bet it's kind of rough right now for the devs because they're just being fucking overwhelmed with the negative feedback. And all the people who like it are like, cool, and not saying anything. But I guess that's just the nature that comes with the territory of being a game dev. Like, that's life. I am obsessed with character creators in games. I'm a person that takes me 2 or 3 hours usually, or days usually, to make a character. They are seeing all the feedback, but yeah, I wanted to look here at some of the more recent complaints and things. You can see that there are actual mesh and texture changes to the face that are different. You can see like the shapes are different in many cases. So I feel like this is some faces are completely changed. Are people mentioning how different Male Your Face 5 is though? This is a new thread I didn't see yesterday. Sure, it's a good idea to remove the static light dot from the eyes. Oh, let me move this. The one we have is not static. However, it's unaffected by the location of the sun and instead only follows the camera. Okay, still point stands that its removal from all situations is one of the key reasons faces can look more off than intended. As most have noticed, now there does appear to be a general issue with the eyes looking vacant, an issue caused by the removal of the semi-static eye shine beside our pupil. Okay, so here it is. It's the anime eye shine. It's been replaced by a few dynamically placed one major that shows when staring towards the sun. Okay. 2 minor appearing when staring away from it, along with a tiny one following the vertical camera. Yep, okay, I see that. This has been fine for me. It's like how an anime character is often portrayed as traumatized or shocked with the shine removed from their eyes. I don't know. I feel like these all look good to me. Like, I need an example of what you think doesn't look good, because... Okay. Completely agree with the old details. If there wasn't the obvious high-res texture on the hair, I would believe the current Endwalker model to be the more detailed one. This is the current. model for Endwalker. I mean, I feel like the shine in the eyes here looks less natural than what is in the Dawn Trail version. Like this extremely bright, weird, like splotchiness in the eyes looks worse than this sort of normal, it looks like normal reflections to me. People need to turn down the gamma. Yes. Yes. I wish the reflection was brighter. Okay. Well, another thing I wanted to look at today is the different spell effects. Mr. Happy put out a video looking at all this spell, like cool new skills, which I struggle to see because I don't notice it. So I wanted to look through the skills that people noticed from the trailer. I thought that would be really neat. Well, tail's still clipping into all skirt. Yes. Well, of course it will. It would. There's no way they could change this, actually. Like, I feel like the only way they could change this is do it where, and this would be a shitload of work, would do like how WoW does with Draenei Tails, where your cape just goes out behind your tail. And honestly, it looks worse. I feel like, I personally think it looks worse than having the tail clip through. But that's my opinion. Of course, even like, that's my personal opinion. I feel like if the cape goes out beyond, it just makes you look like you have a giant ass. Which maybe that's what people want. Do you struggle to see the new skills because you turn the game up so much? No. Skin. Okay, we looked at this. L is in feedback. Okay. I don't think I've seen this. L is in before and after. Before and after. This is a case where they look really similar. Actually. Why did the eyebrows change so much? He has... It's not straight at the end now. I mean, yeah. It's less straight at the end. Added a GIF. Here's some more comparison images. Okay. So it's before and after. Maybe this is a gamma issue too. He's very lit. He looks less tired. He's just more lit. He's more lit up. I mean, I feel like looking at just the eyebrows here, the eyebrow looks more stretched out in the new version. See what I mean? It looks like they didn't change the eyebrow and it just stretched out a little bit. See that? I don't know if that's intentional. Yeah, it seems just like, it does seem a bit odd when you really look at it. See that? That's a reasonable concern. Yeah, I think it looks a lot better, but when it comes to the eyebrow is straight up different. Like, I don't think you can deny that. I love the Elysian male. They're actually sexy now. I think they're one of my favorite race gender combinations now. This has to be a straight downgrade for me in so many aspects. The hair color is washed out, horribly so. Removing the only red option for Ellison. Other than the wine red one. What? The hair itself is stiffer, less voluminous, and has lost its shine. It looks straight up worse in every aspect but texture, but even that is just more detailed texture on flat blobs. Now easier to see. The face is shiny like wax. Okay, let me see. This hair color is not as bright. Okay. Let's make it bigger. I'm wondering how many of these complaints are actual complaints or bugs. I'm also wondering that. I'm also wondering that. I know softer features were inevitable since they were going to add more polygons, but everything looks too smooth now. Well, I think the skin looks much better, yeah. But the color of the hair has definitely changed, and I see what she means about the hair seems stiffer, less voluminous, and less shiny. And that is all true. It does seem less voluminous. And it's not shiny anymore. And I think that some of the blurriness that the hair had before made it seem a little less noodly. The noodly hair is a complaint that I had. I think we were actually talking about it for female Ellison. I think it was for female Ellison, the one with the noodly hair. It was either that or Hewer. So yeah, I feel like it could be improved still. You said the eyes have lost their focus. Let me see. I think this goes... Now, this might actually be a good example of what people in that other thread were trying to talk about, but that I didn't understand, is about the eye shine. The eye shine, just comparing here to here, yeah, it does seem like without that shine here in this situation, the eye seems a little less bright. It seems more dim, more vacant than before. So that's fair. I think that is fair. Such a little change, sadly. Really wish they would increase the graphics. Hold up. Way more than just a little smoothing. Honestly, I agree. I kind of agree, but on this... But then, you see... I don't know what... I feel like... Here's what I would want. I want them to port over the characters exactly as possible. But I want them to also add additional character options that are different. Like more options. So if people want their character to look exactly the same, but just higher resolution, good. But also add in more sliders and things for people that want the other stuff. Because they cannot go through and just change everything across the board like Blizzard did with their model update. Because honestly, I think Blizzard really dropped the ball on a lot of faces, and Square Enix is doing a much better job with their model update. As a 3D modeler, these kinds of things are just going to happen. Yeah, it's impossible to completely replicate something with more polys and higher resolution textures. Things like the normal maps, which reflect light, are what's causing a lot of these changes, especially in the hair. Do you think there's a way to make the hair... like, is there a way to preserve some things like hair color and shine that seem to have been lost between this before and after? Maybe it's an old issue of the game's color looking washed out. I know I've been playing since Heavensward and have upgraded a PC several times. Oh yeah, I just use Reshade. I think everyone does. I will continue to use Reshade in Dodrill. Yeah. They're not going to change the art style. WoW art style changed so much. It doesn't even look like it's the same franchise. I wouldn't want them to change their art style. And I do you know? Okay, you said, did you know FF7 Remake costs hundreds of millions of dollars to make? What? I just learned that some games cost nearly $500 million to make. No, I didn't know that. But I'm not surprised. I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised. They said lipstick light options don't look so light anymore. Yeah. True. Eyebrows have also been softened. They did soften the eyebrow. Even if I were to use the free Fantasia to fix stuff like the eye and skin color, I don't have the option at all for the hair, nose, eyebrows. Hair, nose, eyebrows. I mean, I do prefer the new ones, but I see what you're saying. There's around 2 months left before Dawn Trail gets finished. There's no way they solve this. I wouldn't say that, because there are bugs they need to fix. There are straight up bugs that need to be fixed. Pretty happy with it. My character's still handsome and looks great in motion. I have a gripe though. They gave Dusk Whites dark circles. What? At least Dusky Face 2 never had dark under eye coloring and any lighting. Yes. Yes, they kind of did. They kind of did. Some of these things... Can you see that? Yeah, it's darker under the eyes. He does look tired. He does look more tired than before. Yeah. Lipstick is very inconsistent in the new client. Yes. I do think so. Lipstick has been an issue for me. For me, the biggest issue is the lips and mouths in lipstick. That's something that I have a huge problem with for most. I want to see these comparisons for in-game versus benchmark. Cutscene. Yeah, not character creator. I think currently a Square, this type of issue is all hands on deck. Because even the less up-to-date people will lash out when the expansion launch. Yeah, I bet that they are, this is probably extremely high priority. I like them better with the dark circles. It looks more unique. I mean, I do too, but this isn't about my preference. I mean, I like the dark circles also, but that's not my character, you know? I can't just be like, oh, it's good your character changed because I like it better. No, you know what I mean? Like, maybe have an option for dark circles. Need to tweak colors due to lighting changes, but otherwise no complaints. We know glam. Glam is the true end game. That's why this is so important. Really. So your walls before and after. This has been really fun. We did this for a while yesterday. Hellsguard Rogue Smudge Gate. What? I know Lalafella brought this up as well. But Smudge Gate. What does this mean? I want to open a thread to discuss the nose smudge, ash, dark spot on Hellsguard noses. Oh, okay. I've seen quite a few things on social media from other rows talking about this, but didn't see any thread on it or any links to the master thread talking about the benchmark feedback. Okay. I want to start something for our gentle giants. I'll approach this from the perspective of a femro. The smudge is weaker. Compare this daylight screen from a current one.
Okay, but you're, in this case, you're looking up towards the light, so wouldn't it be weaker there? The nose smudge has always been kind of two-tone. There's a distinct line closer to the bottom of the nostrils that makes it look a little strange. However, this has been incredibly emphasized with the graphics update. Left is 6.58. Right is 7.0. I love a lot of the graphics update. The proper lighting, she looks great. So you're saying... there's a distinct line closer to the bottom of the nostrils that makes it look strange. But now that line is... the line is still there, but here it's less emphasized, yeah. I know 70% of my playtime isn't in optimal lighting. With the current benchmark, the thing that made me fall in love with Hellsguard, Rogadin, isn't quite up to snuff. What do you guys feel about this? Stupid comparison based on vastly different lighting conditions. It's hard to compare before and after of what we're talking about because the lighting is different. Like from here to here, the lighting is different. I need to see it like 1-to-1, you know? It's very difficult. Excuse me, it's very difficult. The ash seems weaker on my characters. But look, this thread has a ton of pages, and there's not that many people that play female Rogadins, so I feel like if they all agree on this, they're gonna see it easier than I could. Hold on one second. Okay, no, it's fine. Okay, ash seems weaker on my character as well. Bothers me a fair bit. Dude, it's insane how much better they look. Bro, I'm actually so distracted by the massive improvement between the before and after here that it's hard to even focus on the nose because holy crap, like it looks like a PS2 character you have before. It's unbelievably jank. Okay, but so when you say the ash, are you talking about the nose thing? The nose thing is more soft. Yeah. It is different, it's more soft. Okay. I've seen quite a lot of people complaining in more private forums about the new nose, and I also agree. If I had to choose a direction to change the nose, I would make it more pronounced, not less. And I think the type of people who choose Rogadin generally agree. This is before. Right? Or no, it's after. It's now. My puppy nose got nerfed hard. Okay, old and new. Okay. Let me zoom out so you can see this a little better. So maybe you will agree. Oh. I think for many people, the jankiness is part of their character and their row identity after all these years. I think that's going to be the case with a lot of people's characters. But okay. Well. Before and after. It's softer. It's not a harsh line across. And that's definitely a deliberate choice by the devs. But do you not think that having this incredibly sharp line across the nose would also be maybe not looking good? But the shadow itself is, I don't know, the shadow is really dark, or if it's just the lighting. Here we go again, you know? Okay, here's before. Yeah, okay, here's a good example. Okay, this is a really good example. It is like straight up completely black tip nose here. And now it's just a little light shadow. It's a much lighter shadow on the nose. Yeah, okay, that's a pretty good example of before and after here. It's less iconic. It's like, it's less of a... Here it looks like dark paint, like a tattoo. And here, it's like washed off. Looks like a baked shadow. You said that they drew on. Was it originally intended, or did it become identity over the years? That's a good question. They literally just drew on a shitty shadow because of the static lighting before. Here we go. I agree. It seems most races are having similar issues. I wonder, you know, did the bunny nose get washed out as much? The bunny nose was never this strong. I'm pretty happy with my bunny nose. Here we go. Again. Zep, the Galka race from FF11, which rows are inspired from, are the same. Can you imagine XIV devs having a crisis over this? Actually, yes, and I bet they are right now. I absolutely can, and I feel like there's an extremely good chance that right now they're looking through all the same threads that we're looking through right now, and looking at the feedback, because that is how they are. They like, it's super important to them, and I think that you can tell from how much effort they put into preserving so much of the detail for these, that it is important to them to keep it as true to the original as possible. But it's not going to be completely possible in every single situation. But I really do feel like they have made a solid effort, even though there's work that needs to be done in some cases. This is actually a very good example as well. Before and after. Yeah. So this was much darker. Now it just looks like more normal shadow. They just made the dark patch to blend into the skin tone instead of something just put above it. Is this a lighting problem? I don't know. I don't think so. You see? It would have been nice if they just made the ash a customization, but I think it looks better now unless like a streak of black paint. But that's what it's supposed to be. It is a smudge of ash that Hellsguard wear. It is face paint. Oh, I did not know that. I'd definitely be happy with more options for people that don't like it, but for those of us that have had it and enjoyed it for 10 years. Yeah, if it's actually real ash on your, that is a face paint for your character, then that makes sense. You should at least have the option to maybe have a slider, opacity slider for that. They really lighten the nose on females. I thought mine looked okay. All taken at 0 gamma. Correction. But with 0 gamma, I can't see that good. My poor girl without her smudge. Setting aside that, yeah, it definitely doesn't look like ash that you put on your nose anymore. Like I said, the game is using PBR is nothing new. It was first proposed way back in the 80s and was first used in a video game in Don't Nod and Capcom's Remember Me back in 2013. Okay. It's what the name implies. It's a lighting method that uses predefined physical properties of object materials to calculate object shading and surface specularity, including reflections. Well, you said maybe PBR was the wrong choice, but it certainly is a massive upgrade for this old-ass engine. I mean, I agree. I think there's going to be a lot of identity shock. It's like having really long hair and then cutting it and looking in the mirror. This new update looks so good. The people have looked at their characters for so long and changes will be a shock. That's really true. My mom is a hairdresser. And my mom says that 9 times out of 10, when people come in, the closer you can get them to look to how they look before, the happier they're going to be. I mean, she's been doing that for decades. And that has been her experience. The more they'll look like they did when they walked in, and the less drastic of a change they have, the happier people do tend to be. Yeah, so here, this is a pretty significant difference with the noses. This is, there's a lot of good examples in this thread. So it's way less noticeable for mine as well. It's the only real issue I have for Rose with the graphics update. I'm disappointed since I think it's a very attractive and defining feature for all Hellsguard. Do hope they consider touching it up. Since with the new lighting, it makes it even harder to see mixed with the new mapping on the skin. Yeah, in this example of this, with the skin tone, it looks like it's gone. It honestly just looks like any other normal shadow. And I think that's, like, compare it to the other normal shadows on the face. And it just kind of blends in with all of that. But this is a defining feature. So I think this is... I think the Smudge Gate 2024 is real. And is pretty valid. Here's an example where I can still see it pretty well. Lips and Endwalker have a shine to them, even when in shadow. Lips and Dawn Trail only shine in light and none in shadow. Oh yeah, the lips. Yeah. As much as I like the other changes, the nerf to the nose smudge kind of ruins it for me. Yeah, here's another really good example. It's face paint. You ever went to the dentist? They did some work on your tooth, and for the rest of the day, you poke it with your tongue because it doesn't feel the same. But the very next day, you completely forget about it. The lip have huge Botox issue. And lip liner. Phase 2 looks so much better, but the smudge is too light. Yeah, that's valid. Was this graphical update necessary? Oh boy. Oh boy. Yes. Yes, yes, it was. We're looking at the next 10 years of the game. We're looking at the next 10 years of FF14. And I feel like in many cases they could have gone farther, but they were afraid to. I would say it's not enough. They should have pushed more. I kind of agree with that. But with a very limited amount that they push, there's still a lot of people unhappy with it.